Hey guys, Ryan here. This is my ultimate movement guide for controller players, and I'm going to be breaking this video down into 3 different sections. The reason I'm doing this is because if you already feel like you know a section or that section isn't relevant to you, then I want you to skip ahead to the relevant parts. The first 5 minutes are going to be for people who are new to Warzone, are just looking for a basic tutorial on basic movements and how to actually improve on these things. The second section, beginning at 5 minutes, is going to be more for people, they know how to jump shot, they already slide cancel, they do all that, but they want to know how to take their movement to that next level. And the third section is going to be for people, they already feel like they're kind of getting there, but they want to know how to have movement like the top players in Warzone right now. So if you guys enjoy this video, you don't have to like, you don't have to subscribe. I just want to say thank you for watching this video, and I hope you have a good day. So let's get into it. The very first thing I'm going to cover is the slide cancel. Now, this is one of the most important movement techniques for anyone to learn. It's absolutely vital, and it's the very first thing I suggest for anyone to learn. It's simply, you slide, you hit the crouch button, and then you hit the jump button. This will cause you to instantly cancel your slide, as implied in the name slide cancel, and it gives you a speed boost. It makes you extremely hard to hit for people, and it's really, really vital later on when you're trying to learn advanced movement techniques. In the background, I've shown you what it looks like when you're just normally running or when you're messing up your slide cancel, but this is what it should look like when you're doing a clean slide cancel. You should just instantly slide, hit the crouch button, and jump. However, as you're probably already starting to realize, this is very hard to do if you do not have paddles on your controller, if you're not playing claw, or if you do not change your controller scheme. I'm going to get into this at the end of the beginner section, but once again, just to review for the slide cancel, you're going to hit circle, circle X if you're on PlayStation, or you're going to hit BBA if you're on Xbox. So now let's move on to the jump shot. The jump shot is one of the most important things to use in combat to win gunfights in this entire game. This is the second most important thing I would recommend for people to learn when they're just beginning to learn Warzone movement. The jump shot is just simply jumping while shooting. Once again, the issue here is if you're using a default controller is the ability to jump and shoot at the exact same time. I have an entire video on this called The Art of Jump Shotting. I'm going to put in the description. So if you want to know more about this particular topic, you can go check it down there. And I am going to actually be talking more about the jump shot in the second section, so do stay tuned for that as well. Now, the third thing I'm going to talk about is drop shotting. A drop shot is simply just laying down when you shoot, and it is an extremely effective way to make your opponent miss shots. Just like the jump shot, I have an entire video explaining how to do the drop shot, what's the main benefits of it, and everything about it, so do check that out in the description if you want to see that as well. I do love using the drop shot, but I would recommend learning it the last of the 2 other movement techniques I mentioned, because while it is really good, it's just not as important to learn as slide canceling and jump shotting. So now that I've covered the main 3 movement techniques you really want to learn as a new player, I want to explain the mental side of things and how to practice them, how to get better, and understanding why you should learn these things. Movement is an integral part of Warzone. To stay alive, to win gunfights, to do well in this game, you need to have good movement. It's not an absolute necessity, but I'd really recommend for most people to dedicate time to getting better movement. It is really important if you want to stay alive in gunfights, if you want to get out of sticky situations, if you just want to be able to win your 1v1 fights, you need to have some form of movement to usually win. Unfortunately, because of the way controllers are set up in their default way, this is going to cause a lot of issues for people. I would really recommend for people to either get a paddle controller, and while I do know that's expensive for a lot of people, that's why I'd also heavily recommend using the bumper jumper control scheme. The reason for this is because the bumper jumper control scheme is going to allow you to jump shot without taking your right thumb off of the thumbstick. It's going to allow you to slide cancel without taking your thumb off the thumbstick, and it's going to allow you to just be a better overall player once you get used to it. So do check out in the controller scheme section the bumper jumper settings. It may take time to learn, and I'm planning on making a video on the full benefits, how to use it, how to get used to it on about a week or 2 once I get used to it myself. I've used many paddle controllers, but I've started using bumper jumper just to get to know what people like that are going through and how to help them use it better. So that is a key thing I'd recommend is if you can't afford paddle controller, if you don't want to learn the claw technique where you use your pointer finger to press the X and crouch button, do maybe consider using the bumper jumper, and do consider maybe using tactical settings as well. The other main thing before I go is just practice these things, guys. Start with learning how to slide cancel, then learn how to jump shot, then learn how to drop shot. Do not overwhelm yourself. You cannot learn it all at once. Take your time and you'll get better. That's going to wrap up my first section. But I would recommend for you to stick around in the second and third section, because while I wouldn't recommend trying a lot of the more advanced techniques, it's going to help you get a better idea of where you want to end up one day. So now let's begin with this second section. I'm going to be breaking this into two parts. First, we're going to be talking about 3 advanced movement techniques. The first being the advanced jump shot. The second is going to be snaking. And the third is going to be the crossover. And then after that, I'm going to be getting into the mental side of things and helping people understand the differences between proactive movement, reactive movement, and how to master these things and master their movement overall. So let's get into the first movement technique I want to talk about, the advanced jump shot. So this is one of the most absolutely vital pieces of movement you need to learn. And there's 2 parts to this. First off, stop just doing the basic jump shot where you just jump out to your left and right without doing the little tactical sprint look. You'll see what I mean. If you do a little turn and look to your side before you jump shot, you're going to get so much more distance than if you would just jump out without doing that. So many people, all they do is they just hold left on their left joystick and jump. That's it. That's their basic jump shot. But if you do a little turn into a tack sprint like you're seeing in the background, you will go so much further than the original jump shot. It's insane. But if you then add a little bunny hop to it, you go an unbelievable distance. I need to clarify that I am not saying to never do the basic jump shot that I showed. It is really important to still have that in your arsenal because there's a lot of times when you're in a reactive situation, you need to just instantly hit that jump shot. But if you are in a proactive situation, you know you have an opponent out there and you can use this jump shot, do it. This will cause you to win so many more gunfights than if you were to just do that normal basic jump shot. But moving on from that, we're going to get into number 2, and that's going to be snaking. Now, once again, this is another one I have an entire video on, and I'd really recommend for you to watch that one because it's really informative. It really shows why snaking is so broken. But snaking is simply, it's when you begin laying down, you then sprint to stand up, you shoot, then you lay down, you sprint, you lay down, and you sprint to stand up over and over. And this will break the camera, and it's going to look like your head is barely showing up. People are going to barely be able to shoot you, but you're going to have full sight of people and be able to shoot them once you get really good at it. So once again, that's just something I'd really recommend implementing. I'd really recommend watching my video on it to see how broken it truly is. But it's something you should really start to implement as you get more and more advanced with your movement. Now moving on to 3 is going to be the crossover. The crossover is absolutely one of my favorite movement techniques in all of the game, and I'd really recommend learning it. It is simply when you do a slide cancel into a jump shot, go in the reverse direction. You're going to slide cancel one way and jump shot the other. I talked about it in my best 3 movement tips for Caldera video, and I gave a ton of examples. So once again, if you want to see that, please go check that out. The reason why I'm not going to just break it down all in this one video is because this is already going to be a 15-minute plus video. I'd be making a 30-minute long video at that point in time, and I just can't do that. So that's why I have in this section. But the crossover, guys, as I said before, it's simply you slide cancel one direction, and then you do a jump shot going the other direction. Once you master this, and you can actually use it in combat, there is no better way to beat someone in combat. And that goes for all of the movement techniques I talked about here. When you are entering this next stage, guys, and I'm going to start talking about the mental side of things now, but once you start entering this next stage, you have to understand the difference between proactive movement and reactive movement, and you have to start mastering these advanced movement techniques. What I mean by reactive movement is this: when you're caught out, when someone finds you, and you just instantly have to react. That is reactive movement. You have to be able to have that. You have to instantly be able to go into a drop shot, a jump shot, whatever. You want to just have the instinct, the instant reactions to go into a movement like that. On the flip side, proactive movement is when you understand how to use your movement to beat your opponents. Let's say you know there's someone 10 meters away from you, you're kind of behind cover, and then you grasp in your head that you're going to hit that tactical advanced jump shot around the corner. You're going to hit a little bunny hop with it, and you're going to kill him. That is proactive movement, when you are the one who is making the first steps in the fight, when you are the one that is initiating the fight with your movement and using movement to help you win the gunfight. That is proactive movement, and it is a key skill to learn because you need to have both. Movement is a defensive tool and it is an offensive tool. Movement will keep you alive in sticky situations. It is going to allow you to get to cover. It's going to allow you to plate up. It's going to allow you to win your 1v1s. But movement is also an offensive tool that you can use to beat your opponents when you really won't be able to beat them otherwise. That is why it's so important to learn both sides of movement. You have to have reactive movement to help keep you alive, to help you get to cover, to be able to plate, all of that. But then you need proactive movement to help you secure kills, to help you win gunfights that would otherwise be difficult, and to just help you win more gunfights overall. In the third section, I'm really going to be hammering home the mental side of things, how to master your movement, and everything like that. So I really hope you stick around because I think this might be the most important section of all of them. So, For this third section, I just want to say that almost everything I'm going to cover here is going to be about the mental side of your movement, because this is where you have to be. You have to be at the point, guys, where you can already do everything I've already covered in this video. All 6 movement techniques that I have covered, if you cannot do them essentially through muscle memory as just basic habit, as basic instinct, if you cannot just do them automatically, then you need to learn. Because one of the key things of movement is that you need to be focusing on how to use your movement and not how to do your movement. If you're spending your brain power focusing on how to do the movement overall, then you're not going to be able to properly focus on how to use it. And that is one of the things people always mess up. You have to make these things habit, guys. If they are not built in, if it isn't just not an automatic response, then 2 things are going to happen. You're not going to know how to use the movement, and you're going to start missing shots because your aim isn't going to be used to the movement. If your aim is not going hand in hand with your movement, if it is not one that is synced, if those 2 skills are not aligned and your movement throws off your aim and vice versa, then you need to fix that. You have to be able to just have this be so built in that it is almost irrelevant to your aim. Your aim should just be something that highlights your movement, and your movement should just be something that highlights your aim. It is naturally uncomfortable to get better at almost anything because it requires you to not be as good as you really want to be, and that failure can kind of sting somewhat, and it can just be frustrating when you know where you want to be and when you're not yet at that point. But be patient with yourself. Give yourself time to master these things and understand it is a process, and as long as you have identified what you need to work on, you're going to get to where you want to be eventually. Now, moving on from that whole section about practicing and making it a habit and all of that, I want to talk about cover, guys. Cover and abusing cover is the key to movement and the key to success with movement. If you want to get a lot of kills in Warzone, if you want to just be good at Warzone, the key is to isolate and find a bunch of 1v1 gunfights and then utilize your skills like positioning, aim, and movement to win those 1v1 gunfights. You want to break the game down into a series of 1v1s where you know you're the better player, and movement and cover are the key to that whole process. I'm going to break down this clip right now because I think it's so important and highlights exactly what I'm saying. I am in a 1v3 here. I have almost very little plates, and I'm going to use movement to get to cover. I'm going to isolate gunfights through the use of cover, and that's what's going to allow me to clutch this 1v3. I broke this gunfight into a series of 1v1s, and I used that to beat them. So first things first, watch how I utilize a crossover here. I slide cancel and jump shot going the opposite direction. Then instantly, I identify where cover is, I slide cancel behind cover, and then I jump shot out of cover, but I unfortunately run out of bullets, so what do? I know there's someone behind me as well, so I instantly try and identify cover to break line of sight on the guy behind me to kill this guy in front of me. What do you think I do instantly after killing him? I identify cover, I get behind cover, and I use cover to re-peek the original person. Now, I'm going to once again replay it in normal time, and you have to understand how much I did in this small little span of time frame and how quickly I had to make these decisions to win this gunfight. And that is the third thing I'm going to talk about, is you have to get quicker and faster at decision making. That is the key. You have to maximize the amount of time you have, and you have to use movement to help you maximize the little bits and spaces to win these gunfights. I won this fight just barely. I barely somehow pulled that fight off, and the only way I did it was just not having any downtime between my decisions. I am instantly going into finding cover. I am instantly engaging into movement when I need it, and it is all just fluid. It is all just a part of my natural process in the way I move through the game. That is the one thing that everyone I know can almost instantly improve on. You have to make decisions quicker, you have to eliminate that downtime, and you just have to go. If you want to be able to win these gunfights, you have to be able to just outthink your opponents. You have to have no downtime in your decision making, and you have to maximize those little bits of space that you have. That is what movement is there for. It is to create tiny bits of space for you to make a play. Warzone is an extremely difficult game. You die super quick. You die almost instantly in reality. So to be able to make space for yourself, to be able to find little pockets of time to play, to reposition, to whatever, to reload, all of that is important to just being good. And you have to have quicker thoughts. You have to maximize and optimize your thought process. The quicker you can instantly just recognize these things and just do them, automatically, without thinking, without hesitation, the better off you're gonna be. I would say outright the biggest thing almost anyone can do to instantly improve their game is to just start improving how fast they do everything. How fast you loot, how fast you think about the game, how fast you process situations. Just go faster in your brain. It is the key to being a good Warzone player. So to wrap up this third section, I just want to highlight everything I kind of went over, and that's master your movement. And this also is going to apply to your aim. You just want to be able to have your movement and aim just be a core part of your gameplay and to just not really be something you're really thinking about. You just want to be able to maximize and execute your movement, and you just want to be able to hit your shots without really thinking about it. The second thing is understanding how cover and movement go hand in hand, and how you just really essentially want to be finding isolated 1v1s and using movement to win those 1v1s. And the third thing is you have to get quicker and quicker with your movement. And you have to get quicker and quicker with your thought process as well. They go hand in hand, and mastering both sides of that is going to be key in unlocking your full movement potential. This is easily the longest video I have ever done on this channel, and it is also a celebration a little bit of 1 year of me making videos and content on this channel. So thank you to anyone and everyone who's been a part of this journey. I just want to say thank you so much. I know you guys don't really understand how appreciative I am, but I just cannot stress how much I really appreciate every single person who watches my videos. I just want to say thank you for watching this video. Thank you for watching all the videos I put out in the past, whatever. If this is your first time watching me or this is your 100th time plus watching me, I just want to say thank you. I hope you guys have a good day. This has been Ryan. I hope you get some better movement tips from this video and you just get better movement overall. This is part 1 of a 3-part series, so do keep that in mind. I want to say it's been Ryan. Have a good day. Peace.